Appears there's no pleasing some people because now, according to a very well-placed source, Meghan Markle believes people are simply ruining her chances of a Norma Desmond-like comeback into the Hollywood fraternity. I kid you not, but who's to blame? As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you today. By the way, have you seen the or heard the new Beatles track? You know, the one that's been assisted by AI, artificial intelligence. Told you, didn't it, earlier on this year? I was at the bus stop. I know the glamour locations of my life, but I was at the bus stop and the window wound down and it was none other than Sir Paul McCartney waving, saying, "Hi, Neil, how are you?" I don't mean that showing off or big-headedly or anything. We had worked together before, but it's one of those moments, isn't it, where you think, here I am at them, and I felt like saying, yeah, well, a lift would be nice, Sir Paul, actually. Been here 20 minutes, no bus, you know what I'm saying? But it's interesting, isn't it? Because the Beatles, as I say, it's the final track that they found a snippet on. They started on it in the 90s, but because of the technology now, they were able to sort of isolate John's vocals and put it back together. I think it's incredible when you think, and a lot of people who are saying, oh, it's, you know, they should leave alone, all that sort of stuff. Look, it's their legacy, it's their music, and I feel like, you know, Paul and Ringo, if that's what they want to do, why not? You know, they created a phenomenon, did they not, with the Beatles? Yes, a little bit like some people might say how Meghan and Harry have created something of a phenomenon with their own brand. And that's right, because according to a very well-placed source, Meghan Markle is very much down in the dumps. As I've said to you before, it must have been very difficult, you know, considering that Spotify publicly went out and called them grifters and useless and all that sort of stuff. I did feel that that's sort of unnice in the sense from a business of that level. You know, it's your stupidity for giving them money. So if they're willing to take it, that's your problem, really. Not taking sides, not on the Sussex squad. I'm just saying, you know, if you were the business, you'd think, well, makes me look a bit dumb, you know, giving all that money. You know what I mean? Just silly. But what is interesting now is because of the barrage that obviously Spotify are carrying on doing, and let's be honest, it's their prerogative, they're allowed to do it. Well, it's proving very difficult. And according to that source, Meghan Markle feels that all of this negativity, including the fact that basically they've recently come out in another statement saying that after just 12 episodes, Meghan was rather unresponsive to suggestions, ideas, structure, or even being produced. Basically, a diva. I'll have dressed it up, but you know, she's clearly a diva. And the other side of the coin, you could say, well, it's her name on the can, and she has to be sure she feels comfortable with what she's doing. But clearly had no idea, hence the reason people didn't tune in. But as that source pointed out, is working with her very closely on this new relaunch. Every time they come out, it reminds people of what a disaster it was. Now, I would suggest that, you know, in order to switch the disaster around, come out with something that the public want. So then, you know, it counteracts that, basically saying, well, I am successful, or people do like what I'm doing. But of course, you know, the modus operandi normally of Harry and Meghan is just keep moaning, and it's never their fault. And of course, Spotify did give them a lot of money, certainly not $18 million, whatever you're reading. There was no money of that level, but nonetheless, a lot of money to boot. As for Meghan, apparently, you know, she just wonders when they're going to give in. I would suggest whenever they need a hit, some publicity, or indeed a launch of a new season, you've given them acres of material now to play around with. And as that former executive said, his story is yet to be told. And that one is going to be far more damaging than the bon mots that Spotify are now dropping out as and when. As for Meghan, we're seemingly no further forward with the new big comeback, the mega deal from Audible or Amazon at the time of recording. It is a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.